Welcome to ODT Rugby Chat. Look, I apologise, I didn't do a Rugby Chat last week, but I've been chasing Taieri now for weeks. They've been avoiding me, but they've finally decided to turn up today. Look, it's been a tumultuous week for Taieri. We've lost a coach, they've lost a Zingari last weekend. I've got John Freeland, and welcome along, John. John Freeland. John is the manager, sorry, not the manager, he's the chairman and president of Taieri. So we're just going to go one-on-one and just talk about what's happened in Taieri over the last couple of weeks. So first thing, John, the hairdo.
It's a natural call. It used to be a bit darker when I was a bit younger.
I felt I interviewed you last year, and it wasn't like that.
No,
this is the natural.
I had number one for about 20 years, and the girls at Blake tell me I've missed 3 changes of hairstyle in that time. So
right.
There we are.
Okay, and the other thing, while all the drama's been going, you've been sunning yourself in Rarotonga.
Yeah, it's the 4th time I've been out of New Zealand. I'm wondering why I came back, but yeah.
So look, so you would have only got back over the weekend, I'd imagine.
Late Saturday.
So you wouldn't have seen the big game at Zingari.
No, I got the score come through from Perky, and I thought it was missing a digit somewhere, to be honest.
To be fair, I did the same. I was doing the game down at the Harbour Dunedin game, and I looked at the score after the game. I said, well, that must be a miss one. That can't be right. So look, mate, tell me why okay. So poor old Erik V's gone this week. And that was in the ODT this morning. Talk me through what's happened over the last few weeks to get you to make this decision.
Yeah, well, it is over a few weeks. In fact, it probably goes a bit further than that. But we at committee level, we've conducted a bit of a review of the whole club, and generally speaking, most of our teams are travelling pretty well. We've got good coaching groups. You mentioned Hornbrook before. He's a bit of an exception when we talk about coaches.
Quickly, just talk about that. Now, John Hornbrook's lurched from club to club to club and left a trail of destruction wherever he goes. I just like to apologise the fact that we actually got rid of him and he turned up at your club.
Yeah, I'm just wondering when the money's going to come through from Dunedin to compensate us, to be honest.
Well, we're still waiting for him to pay subs, but that's another story. Okay. Anyway, let's back to the story.
Yeah. So this has been a work in progress for a while. We conducted, I guess you call it a mid-season review. We were unhappy with the way our Premier group are travelling. We see a good group of lads there that aren't getting the results that we thought they should be achieving. And as a result of that, we had to look at the system in place, and we felt we were uncomfortable with the current coaching regime. And when I say that, we're talking about the entire coaching group, because what the resolution that was passed on Monday night was to remove our existing Premier coaching group. And obviously, if you're going to get rid of something, you need to have something to go to. And we've done a little bit of background work, and we were thrilled and delighted that we were able to secure Murray Roulston services. I mean, Murray brings a lot to the table, not only at Premier level, but right across our whole club. Okay,
let's talk about Erik then, because it must have been a hard decision. Look, I've written in I imagine how hard it's been, but look, I've written in the paper tomorrow that, look, I feel really sorry for Erik. He's a great guy. He's played nearly 200 games for you guys.
221.
And 221 for Taieri, and he also, but he helped to get back in as a player into Prem Rugby. So, look, there must have been a lot of gnashing of teeth over where Erik would be with this.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, and I've said in the paper this morning, and I'll say it again, the fact that Erik stood up at the start of the season and was prepared to coach the group, he was our only person who was prepared to do that.
So at that stage, you had nobody else putting their hand up.
We had no other options, and Erik played 221 games. He's been in the system for a number of years, coached our Prem Colts, obviously, well known through Otago coaching circles at representative level. He brought a lot to the table at the time, and unfortunately, things have transpired to the point we get to now, where we've had to make that hard call, and it wasn't an easy call, but it's one that we had to make.
Well, mate, is it okay? So you won your first 4 or 5 games for the year, and we're tracking okay, and you beat Varsity, who haven't been beaten since. You came out, you lost to Dunedin. You might have then gone on and beaten Pirates. Then you've lost to Harbour, Kike and Zingari. You're still in the top 4 right now. You're still a point ahead of Southern. Mate, is this not an overreaction?
No, well, we see it as a situation that if we didn't make the decision now, we may be sitting here at the end of the season and going, why the hell didn't we react at the time, when we were quite clear that there's a number of things happening that we were uncomfortable with. And also, we want to have a good lead into next season too, because when you look at a club structure, I mean, we've got 5 senior teams, we've got some 300 kids playing junior footy at the Taieri. We don't want to have our junior Colts and our Premier Colts and our guys in our Prem 2 side who have aspirations of playing Premier Rugby, looking at a situation that's happening with their group and going, gosh, we really don't want to be part of that.
So is that why you're saying, look, my next question was, could this to give perhaps a more dignified exit for Erik or whatever? Could this not? So you're saying it couldn't have waited to the end of the season?
I don't believe so, because we'd be taking a real punt on that, and the only thing I punt on is my racehorse, and with mixed results.
Right.
Yeah.
So my next question then. So you talked about you bringing Murray Roulston in, and is Hayden coming back in with him?
Well, as I said to you, the resolution was that our existing Premier coaching group were gone.
So
I had to tell Finchy
right.
that he was no longer part of the furniture
Okay.
on Tuesday morning as well.
Yep.
So both Erik and Hayden were told that. Now Murray is now the head coach.
Yep.
Murray brings with him his team. Murray has made a decision to bring Hayden on board, and whoever else Murray brings in, that's Murray's decision.
So have you? Let's talk about this, because Murray's running his own business now as well,
Yes,
called
yes.
Roulston Rugby.
Yep.
So have you contracted Roulston Rugby, or have you contracted Murray Roulston?
No, we've got Murray Roulston as our head coach.
Is he a paid coach for you guys?
We don't pay anyone in the system.
Okay. Was there any player power involved in this whole thing? Because I heard that going back, and I heard there was, you've had a couple of players that disappeared. One of the players has gone to Kaikoura, and there's been, because they weren't playing and all that, and all those sorts of things. Was there any player power involved in this?
No, this wasn't borne out entirely of the players. I mean, there was the odd comment from some of our senior playing group, but players. There's two scenarios to this, as I said.
Sorry, mate, that shouldn't have happened.
Is it a fine?
That's normally a fine, but I'll talk to Stephen about that afterwards.
From a personal point of view, in my opinion, you've got your coaching situation, and then you've got your player group. Now, I could look at our player group just now and say they are a good bunch of lads. They've got a skill set that I think they should be getting results against some of the teams that they haven't achieved. So we can't really have issue with them if there's confusion about the coaching methods and,
right.
and leadership, etc. there. So it's more than just players.
Okay.
And the other thing with Murray is, as I said before, Murray is not just coming in to coach our Premier squad, he's coming in to oversee our whole coaching structure throughout the whole club.
Okay, so look, my other question on this about whether this is an overreaction is, look, I've done a wee bit on this in the paper again tomorrow, of talking about the number of players that you've lost. So I'm going to have to turn that phone off.
That's two fines.
That's two fines.
Yeah, good.
The number of players you've lost. Okay, so you've lost Charlie O'Connell.
Yep.
Willis Scott's not playing at the moment. You've lost Larson. You've lost Kurt Webster. Michael Collins not there. Josh Casey's not there.
Yeah.
You've had a massive injury run as well.
I tell you what, I threatened last week to get some red paint before I went on holiday and put some red crosses on top of the rest of the clubhouse.
And every club goes through that. So again, if it's a tough one, but surely that's contributed to a lot to where you are quite right now, though. Surely with that player drain and the injury problems.
Losing those senior players, and you've mentioned the main combatants here. I mean, that was an issue in itself. But
yep.
We've got good lads coming through the ranks. I mean, we have got some very good footballers in the Taieri and some good young footballers to come through here. And you just got to contend with that. Injuries is the same. I mean, last year we were basically, the year before we were basically untouched with injuries.
Yep.
Yeah. This year, Biddy Sefton, I don't know how she does it, but she's managed to keep the lads on the paddock, and she and Scott and Ashley on our medical staff for our Prem group alone, and Shelley Reynoldsson, who does our Prem 2 group, they are using so much strapping just now. I mean, I think we're doing a remake of the Mummy most nights
right.
to train.
So look, let's talk about where to from here from Taieri. So look, have you still got you must still have top 4 aspirations this year?
The goal for our Premier group right now is to make the top 4.
Right.
And that's a heady goal.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Considering, and that's also another thing I have mentioned tomorrow, considering the vagaries of the draw this year, I think Taieri have been a bit hard done by. You play all the top teams twice.
That's a draw.
And every other team doesn't. The other top 4 teams don't do that. So, okay, so you're still realistic about making the top 4 this year?
That is the goal.
How are we looking in terms of getting some kids back on the paddock? I hear that young Colling and Josh Casey are only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, well, Josh Casey's ankle looks absolutely horrendous. If you've seen the photos on Facebook,
right.
It's about as big as a soccer ball just now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about, so look, I did write a bit on Friday, hopefully you might have missed it, about the fact that off the field, when there was all these allegations made from the Harbour boys, that when the speeches were being made, because you guys have, from what I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 years, have made a great job of speech time at your rugby club. and you've gone on far too long, I'd have to say. But apart from that, you've made
It's quality.
you've made a great job of it. And so what happened? So how come the Taieri boys just didn't turn up for their own speeches?
Now, I've made some investigation to that in the time I've had available to me, and that is wrong.
Right.
Absolutely incorrect.
So they did in fact come out?
Yeah, they did. What the confusion was that we had our 211 group there having a reunion, and a bulk of those boys were in our changing rooms.
Right.
So there was a great deal of them in there, and I think there was some confusion around
As
who
was out.
who was who.
Who was out and who was not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, mate, so look, it's obviously been, so you've obviously done, you've burnt the midnight oil, you got back here on Saturday, so this all transpired Sunday, Monday, so you've obviously spent a lot of time in that process in that 24-hour period.
Yeah. But, those who know me know that if there has to be a decision made, it'll get made.
You'll make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've had, what do you say, a lot of people have spoken to me this week, and they're from other clubs, and again, they don't know the full story.
No.
And a lot of those people, and there's been some heartfelt comments come through by text and by email to me saying, this is a disgrace, Erik's a great guy, and he's got a lot of mana around town, as you know, and they're saying, look, what do you say to those guys that are coming to me saying, look, how can they do this to Erik?
Well, all I'd say to them is, we don't dislike Erik as an individual. As I said before, I mean, we rate him as a person. We rate his longevity in terms of playing career and what he's given to our club and coaching. But we have made a decision, given all the information that we have to hand. And I mean, we don't have to air everything that we have out in public. I mean, every club's the same. We were given a situation, and as a committee, we've had a talk around that. Had a lengthy meeting, and we had a vote, and there was a unanimous decision regarding the resolution that was passed. Okay,
so this weekend, you're playing Varsity.
Yep.
I think you're playing Varsity at home at the Elva Pit.
Yeah.
So you're playing
Field
them out.
of Dreams. Yeah.
The Field of Dreams. I haven't mentioned that for quite some time. I have to be fair. So out at the Field of Dreams this weekend, well, not Erik's Dreams now, but out at the Field of Dreams, I hear Varsity are putting their strongest side they can on the paddock this year, just to help you out.
Well,
how will you go?
We'll be doing the same too.
Yes.
Yeah.
How will you go this weekend?
Well, everyone wrote us off in the first round, and I would remind people to have a look at the result of that match.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I was one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, mate. So look, you're through this now. You're through this now. So give me a prediction for this game. You've got Varsity coming out. I'm hearing they're the strongest team they can put on paddock this year. They should win it by 13. They should be 13 plus easy. Where do you see it happening on Saturday for Taieri?
Well, I've been giving Graham McGregor, a mate of mine, a bit of stick because I got the wood on him after the first round.
Yep.
I'd like to be able to enjoy doing that for the rest of the year, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, look, there it is. You've heard it from me. The big game this weekend is probably Taieri and Taieri and Varsity. Look, given the week that the Taieri have had, I just can't see them getting too close to Varsity. But I'll listen to what John's saying, and I'll pick Varsity to win that 12 and under, and we'll be back again next week.